just wanted to jump on here and do a EFT session, just a short one, but I'm halfway through reading a really amazing book at the minute called How to Do the Work, and there's a lot of stuff I'm familiar with already in the book, but but a lot of it is a really excellent reminder of the mind-body connection, which is what I work with as a therapist, and how the old emotional stuff that we don't process and we carry around with us affects us physically and emotionally. And I'm at the minute I'm sort of 10 or 11 days into doing a gut cleanse, so like a spring cleanse. And what's been really interesting for me on this process of, really sort of purifying my diet and cutting out sort of pretty much everything, really. It's vegan, it's raw, it's not raw, actually it's quite a lot of raw, but it's really super healthy and super clean. But what I'm finding interesting is that old emotional stuff is starting to arise, which is a really natural process if it's just been kind of kept in my system. And whenever I feel activated by something in life, then if I don't deal with it consciously, then I'll be dealing with it unconsciously. So whether that is numbing through food or alcohol, or just distracting myself by being busy, or all the usual ways that we avoid our stuff. So a lot of my stuff has been kind of coming up, and I've just been doing some tapping on it this morning, and I just wanted to share with you how amazingly therapeutically helpful tapping is, EFT. So one of the issues that I work with, and I know a lot of the people I work with have as well, is being seen. So the issue of kind of being seen, and what happens if we are seen, what happens if we put ourselves out there doing the things that we really love, and people criticize us or think we're not enough or not good enough, and then it can be really, really crushing. So we don't tend to be seen, and we hide ourselves away, especially any people out there like me that are introverts or highly sensitive people. It can be an extra layer of an extra barrier to sort of get through to be seen. And a lot of this has its roots, as most of our stuff, in childhood. And when we can work consciously with these feelings, then we can create some more spaciousness, so we don't feel the need to be quite so reactive in the old ways. We might not need to numb ourselves. We might just allow these feelings to be and to meet them. We might move through some really uncomfortable feelings and start leaning into our edges a little bit more. A lot of the book as well talks about the polyvagal theory, and the polyvagal system rather, so the vagus nerve and the relationship between the gut and the brain. And it's absolutely fascinating, and it's so informative about so many things, about why so many people have gut issues or inflammatory issues. If we can do a lot of work on the emotional stuff, and if we can work with our body more consciously and help to release some of this stored trauma that's in there, or at least process it, then what shifts can we create? So I'm going to jump in and do some tapping now, specifically on the I'm just going to turn that light off because it keeps bobbing up behind my head and I'm finding it quite distracting. So specifically on being seen, and the feelings that may arise when we kind of, on the one hand, want to push ourselves out there. We want to launch our business, or be creative, or share our gifts and talents, and then that other part of us is like, oh my good God, no, you must stop, that you're going to be seen. So tuning into those feelings. So tapping, we're going to be tapping on different energy points. We're going to start with the karate chop point. So either hand, 2 or 3 fingers is the first point, the setup point. This is that's the small intestine point. Top of the head is the governing vessel point. These are meridians. This is the names that I'm saying. I'm just reading them off the list because I can never quite remember them. Inside of the eyebrow is the bladder meridian. Side of the eye is the gallbladder meridian. Under the eye is the, gallbladder meridian. Under the nose, governing vessel. Chin area, central vessel. Collarbone, kidney meridian. So you can use this 2 hands, one hand. You're finding your collarbones and you're going out. Under the arm, spleen meridian. So tuning into this feeling of being seen. We want to center ourselves, put a little hand on our gut, one on our heart, and just breathe for a moment. Consciously allowing the breath to flow into the tummy area, that's what we're aiming for. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Okay, so you're going to repeat what I say. Even though it's really hard for me to be seen, I accept myself anyway. Even though it's hard to be seen, I deeply and completely accept who I am. Even though being seen seems really risky, I love myself anyway. It's so hard for me to be seen and to put myself out there. What if people don't like it? What if people judge me? What if people criticize me? What if I'm no good? Part of me really wants to push myself out there. And another part of me just wants to hide. I allow these feelings to be. I allow myself to feel these feelings. Even though I would love to shine my light, I love myself anyway. Even though I would love to shine my light and be seen, but it's risky, I accept myself anyway. Even though I would really love to do what I do and really love it and really put myself out there, but I don't. I love myself anyway. What if I'm not good enough? What if I fail? Other people can do it better than I can. I'm not experienced enough. Why would anybody listen to me? What's so great about me anyway? Maybe what's so great about me is that I'm me. Nobody else is me, and that is my superpower. I have my unique blend of gifts and ways of being. Who I am is just right as it is. I am enough, just as I am. I would like to feel more at peace with myself. Even though I didn't always feel safe being me growing up, I love myself anyway. Even though I didn't always feel safe growing up to be me and to be seen, I love myself anyway. Even though who I wasn't always approved of, I approve of me now. That was then. They were doing the best that they could. This is now. I know myself better than anyone else. I choose to believe in me. I choose to believe in me. I am enough. As I am is good enough. As I am is just right. Oh, so you might want to just make some movements, just shake off some of that emotional energy and tune into how you're feeling. So a lot of our stuff and a lot of the things that hold us back have their roots in childhood, and our parents also have their stuff that has its roots in childhood, and on it goes back. And I remember years ago I was really struggling with some painful feelings, and the person that I was angry at, I went to speak to had a Buddhist healing from this lovely monk about it, and he was chatting to me and he said, you know, that anger, you can kind of direct it at that person, but that person is just responding from what happened to them, okay? So then you can't really blame that person, it's the person before them, but they are responding to what happened to them, so it's the person before them. And you know, you can never kind of get to the bottom of it. It's part of our human conditioning that we face challenges. Suffering is part of life, just as joy is part of life, suffering is also part of life. And it's what we do with it, and it's how we work with it, and how we can consciously explore our feelings and understand the things that get in the way of us leading a brave and vulnerable and, you know, fulfilled life. So really the last 12 months have shown so many of us how very precious life is and how very short it can be. If we didn't already know this anyway, we are much more aware now of our human frailty. And we literally get this one crack around the block in this lifetime, in this incarnation. And for many women, really, you know, men have it as well, absolutely, you know, but I work primarily with women. So for many women, people identifying as women, we just do hold ourselves back, a lot of us. We're so busy caretaking, we're so busy being busy, juggling too many things that we shouldn't be juggling. You know, we should have, you know, how it should be in the olden days, where we could share things more, where it was more of a tribal mentality, where we had our sisters around us. Whereas now we're isolated, we are doing it all, we're exhausted, we're depleted. So we don't have time for our gifts and talents. And then when we do have time, there's all these other people who seemingly look so confident and so accomplished. And there is just a lot of showiness out there. There's a lot of showiness on social media. A lot of people, you know, are really good at presenting themselves in a way where they seem bulletproof, where they seem completely polished. And I don't know about you, but for me, the people that I most resonate with are the people that have been a bit, you know, who are raw and gritty, who have openly, you know, admitted to having struggles, who have, you know, shared their wounds, who have said, you know, this is not always easy, and I don't always feel amazing, and life is really hard, and, you know, fall down, get back up, Pema Chodron quote. I always talk about things come together and they fall apart again. That is part of life, but it's how do we support ourselves? How do we really take good care of ourselves? And how do we grow some really strong boundaries where we say, hang on a minute, I need some of this slice of this pie for me, because your heart is the most important thing, and what fulfills your heart, and allowing yourself to be loved, and allowing yourself to love, allowing yourself to do what you love, allowing yourself to be at peace with who you are. So I've gone off on a bit of a tangent. It's not like me, is it? because I think, because I'm just, you know, I'm definitely feeling some kind of quite raw, vulnerable stuff emerging at the moment that I'm, you know, really working with and really enjoying the process, even though it's a bit uncomfortable, of working with it. And I love, you know, doing quite a lot of EFT packages with people at the minute, and or the one-on-ones where we're doing mindful wanderings, where we're going out in nature, you know, and the shifts that people can make if they engage with their stuff. So whatever works for you, where you're consciously meeting your stuff, you know, really give yourself permission to carve out some sacred time to do that. You know, if you have children, you're modeling amazing, you know, self-nurturing. You're modeling how it looks to honor your needs. You know, really, do we really want to be modeling to our children? You work yourself down to the bone, you keep going, you juggle everything, you know, you're super accomplished and your house is super clean and everything's super tidy, but inside, what is going on? You know, children sense, they are so aware. Let's model fulfillment. Let's model enriching ourselves, working on our stuff, meeting our stuff, meeting ourselves, befriending ourselves. So that's where I'm at, and I hope you found that session worthwhile. So with tapping, try on anything. You start with the karate chop point, you tap down the points, just you can have a stream of consciousness, end this point with something affirming. It can feel quite odd if you've not done tapping before, that you're saying negative things and you're tapping them into your system, but all you're doing is giving a voice to what's already in the headspace. So, and we are working through it. We're just meeting that voice that wants to be heard, rather than being told to shut down, to shut up and pipe down. We are allowing all of our feelings to be met in a safe and comfortable way. So thank you for joining me here today, and please do reach out if you have any questions. Thank you.